Okay.
Well, welcome back to Coffee Talk with Brandy. I have my friend Rob here who's agreed to come on the show, and we're going to talk about
Relationships!
Yay!
Yeah!
Something we're super good at because we're both in them. Just kidding.
Just kidding. Terrible.
Yeah.
I'm
no.
terrible. Not me.
Stop it.
I'm too selfish.
Why?
I just gotta have like my bed ready for me by like 9 p.m. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just that quiet environment.
Like, shh, quiet.
Yeah, it's quiet time. It's quiet time. I need my rest.
That's so funny. Well, I mean, I like quiet time too.
That's
Yeah.
true. Quiet time's awesome.
Oh,
but
it's really important.
loud time is cool too.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
kind of, I'm gonna say it, you're loud. Like I'm loud. You
I'm
and
pretty loud.
we can talk for hours because we're just chit-chatty people.
Yeah, chatty Cathy's.
Yeah, that's so true. Well, we wanted to talk about relationships, but I mean, coming from the different perspective of like, I've been single for like the last 11 years, and just coming up in the dating world has been number one, extremely challenging and
Awkward.
I've learned a lot,
Weird.
right?
Especially, let's talk about the last 2 years of dating. What's that like for you?
Gosh, I don't know, COVID. I mean, I didn't
Yeah,
really...
COVID kind of ruined the dating scene for a while.
Yeah, I
Because
didn't see
like,
much.
yeah, if you were to like meet a stranger, and I think now I'm just kind of like observing from what I've seen. This is not actual, facts, but when you see two strangers dating, like maybe online, for example, like they're probably sitting like 6 feet away from one end of the table to another.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like in the dining room scene where you have like this 10-foot long table, and each person's like on one end of on the other from the table. Anyways, yeah, that's kind of how I see COVID dating.
Yeah.
You're so far away, but yet you're trying to establish some kind of connection with that person.
Yeah. Well, I think what I like you just said is like establishing connection. What does that look like for you?
Well, it's just kind of hard. There's a lot of flaky people here in the Pacific Northwest. What can I say? I've been here now since like July of 2016.
Really?
Yeah.
And we met not too long
I've
after
lived
that,
here
right?
for 5 years now.
Okay.
And I guess I haven't really thought of it too much. Yeah, so here's an example. So whenever I was networking and stuff for Lane County filmmakers and film actors, I would reach out to a lot of people and I'd get like a lot of responses. And in time, you find out like who flaky people are, and then
Yeah.
you find out the ones who are really like dependable.
Yeah.
So let's just say like I found out like 100 out of 100 people, I think I found out, now this is just an example, I would say like 70% of those 100 people are like flaky and just unfortunately just hard to rely on. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And the
It's-
filmmaking.
Yes, in filmmaking.
So in dating, would it be fair to possibly say maybe 70% are non-committal? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. These are just words I'm curious about.
Yeah, these
Like,
are words based off experience.
Yeah.
I mean, I am no professional at this, so please don't take my advice like whatsoever.
professionals.
No way.
I claim I'm a professional dater at this point. After 11 years, I'm a professional dater.
Definitely.
And I'm writing a book about my dating experiences,
Yeah.
which is really how I was insecure to confident through that dating experience. So
Exactly.
you are.
We are.
We are pros at dating.
I haven't been trying as much. I I don't know, like when people see me, they're like, ooh, who is this person? And then when they find out the real me, they just run the other way. And it's so true. I bring out this weirdness to them, this happy-go-lucky side, and they're like, why are you so happy? I'm like, why not?
Yeah.
Like, I got a pocket full of sunshine right here. Let me go get it.
That's me. Pocket full of sunshine.
So it's just like the song. I got a little pocket full of sunshine.
Pocket full. I don't know how it goes though. Pocket full of sunshine.
Oh, whoa. And that's all I know.
That's all I know too.
Okay.
And I don't know if I could sing it in tune, but I can sing some. But
Yeah.
so that brings me to another question because
Perfect.
yeah, because you said they run the other way. So do you care if we dive into that a little bit? Because
Not at
first
all.
of all, I've also experienced that too. And I've experienced in my dating realm, coming from a woman's perspective,
Yeah.
I've had to learn to sift through players and who are the players and how they play. Which, when you're an innocent young girl, I mean, I was Mormon for a number of years, not all of my life. I left the church, but I joined the dating world with innocent eyes.
Yeah.
Not knowing, like, why is somebody sending me a picture of their junk? Like, you know,
Whoa.
what? Yeah,
Whoa.
I mean, things like that.
Whoa.
Seriously. And
Was this like the first 24 hours?
Oh, back 11 years ago, it was in the first several months. And I didn't know what to do with that. But, you know, so the road that I've traveled has taught me to be exceedingly in tune with other people and their behaviors and actions and things like that. And it's really hard from a woman's perspective. Now, obviously, I don't represent all other women. I have no idea what their experiences are, but I've talked to a number of them who equally have the same thing. So what I have found, though, is the men who have come into my space, who open up, they also run the other way. And I want to challenge that thought, though, sometimes, because when people feel awakened in something they haven't had awakened in their life, whether that be love or whether that be, you know,
Support, maybe?
Support.
Yeah.
If they haven't experienced that in their life, and most people don't know how to deal with it because we are drawn to familiarity.
Yeah.
Our brains are drawn to familiarity. So you being the pocket full of sunshine that you say you are, because I think you are too. I adore you.
Oh, thank you.
Always have since I met you.
Yeah.
And
thank
so,
you.
yeah. And so I think likeness is drawn to each other. And I think so many people don't know where to move forward, right? It's like sometimes people are awakened with something or they feel activated with somebody and they may not know why, because if you haven't done your inner work, you might be just stuck with those feelings. So, I mean, what do you
Yeah.
think with that perspective?
Oh, I totally agree with that perspective, 100%. Yeah, it's what you bring to the table, what your energy and body language kind of like, you know, what you do. Like, yeah, you brought a feeling about like, you know, like attracts like, energies attract other energies. Sometimes, you know, obviously, opposites attract.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's that too. That's kind of like been my luck of the draw, I guess, is kind of opposites attract now. So, you know, growing up and being in these environments that we've grown up on, with our parents and everything, I found myself like growing up, and I would start dating these girls, and it was almost like how my parents are, which wasn't always the best circumstances or the relationship, which led to a divorce later down the road. But for some reason, it's like what we know, what we're exposed to, is what we're gonna do.
Yep.
So I was in, like, growing up, I was in these like toxic relationships because like I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted. I mean, I knew, you know, let's be real, all guys, you know, we want, and we're gonna get after it. And I did all those things, and I got after it, and I got a lot of just blowback, which was like negative, and some was positive. And I want to say also, I want to include too, is that I understood those failures and I grew from that. And so most of my relationships now, especially with my exes, I still talk to most of them. I want to say at least 8 out of 10. And then those others two just like disappeared somewhere, or they probably got married or something, which is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't really, I'm still learning as a person, but I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
I will say that. And it's been such an interesting, just, I don't know what to call it, joyride or something?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of joy and pain, I mean, as well. And I just want to emphasize what you're saying. We are drawn to what we know.
Yes.
And again, that comes with, like, if somebody's not used to being around a ray or pocket full of sunshine, they may run away, and not because you're not good enough or I'm not good enough, but because they are not used to being around that environment.
Yeah.
And that's where the Coffee Talk with Brandy is really important, because we do talk about self-awareness. we have to know what is going on within ourselves in order to move forward from those behaviors that we have. And being honest with ourselves is the most important thing I've ever done in myself.
Yeah.
And so many people have not sat down to even figure out what they're thinking, who they are, all of that stuff. So when you come and you bring this knowledge that you are not aware of to another person, like we're hiding who we are, asking somebody else hiding who they are to love us.
That's like, yeah, exact. So what I'm getting, what you just said to me is like, we all wear masks. Mm-hmm. Like there's a mask that we all wear to like really hide who we are inside because we're afraid of being judged. I mean, I still have feelings like that. I'm like, I don't want people to know who I am inside. You know, but at this point, like the older I'm getting, I'm like, well, why not? Why not talk about these things that I'm not so good at? And I've basically like reinvented myself 4 years ago. And that 4 years ago, I split up with a girl that I thought was going to work and have a family with. Along the way, I mean, I brought her all the way from Texas. And that's saying something right there, right?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. So I brought a girl back and her daughter, and I had a little family, and so I reconnected with my son here in Oregon, and things didn't really work out like I thought. And I basically, a long story short, we came down to terms where it's like, I approached it like this. I'm like, you know, I'm sorry, unfortunately, like our natures are incompatible. Like you like doing things that I don't like doing, and I like doing things that you don't like doing. So like why are we doing this to each other? I mean, you deserve to be happy just as much as I deserve to be happy, and what are we doing? And why are we both miserable? And why we are in this current state? I said, it was a great run. I said, I love you. I care about you. I always will. That will never change. I know your mom. I know your family. I mean, I know your sister. I'm good. And we have all those great relationships, but like we evolved, and it was just about like just being mature adults about it. So it's like, of course, there's going to be some awkwardness there because after we split up, we were still living together. So it's just like, what's the next step? What do we do? And the respect was there, you know, the boundary was set, unfortunately, and it hurts. I mean, it hurts extremely, but that thought, that idea, though, really was, you know, like the backbone, what do I call that? Like, it was a drastic change. It was a transition.
Yeah.
And now we still talk. I mean, she moved into a new place about a month later, and I helped her move her stuff into her new place and helped her move the couch upstairs because, you know, that can be kind of a jerker there. But no, I mean, I still keep in touch with her. I still talk to her, and sometimes I feel now I'm like, I don't want to lead this person on. I know she still loves me, but I want to make sure that the intent is there. We're friends. Like, I love you, but we're friends. Like, I'm putting that out there. So yeah, that was tough, man. And I learned a lot about myself after that and what I wanted. And I'm just like, I don't want to be in a relationship right now. Like I feel like I don't have all the tools. And I definitely did gain some tools in that relationship. And I'm actually really glad, and I don't take anything back, you know, learning from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what can I include in this?
I think you're doing...
Is there a lesson that could be learned here in this situation? I don't know if there is or not. But I did learn, though.
Well, that's good.
For sure.
I think, I mean, we're always moving. If we're always learning and moving and growing and moving forward, then that's a great thing.
Yeah.
But I guess I also want to hit on, you say you don't have all the tools, right? Well, what if it's really two people coming together, acknowledging that both of them don't have the full tools, but the biggest tool we need is the ability to have a conversations that might be hard, and we avoid conversations because of our childhood, right? Like if we all grew up in homes where all of our needs were met and we actually had a say, and you know, if you know our parents, I know they did their best. Like my parents did their best. They did.
We can't fault them for that.
No. This is not about blaming or shaming parents, because
I used to do that.
Yeah, well, it's hard, right? I mean, there's this, and that's learning and growth, right?
Yes.
Well, and it's okay to be angry and upset that you didn't experience maybe the best childhood, because I didn't either. And my parents have both passed on. So I've been able to heal in a different way now that they've passed on. And of course I miss them. They passed on? Both of them. Both of them.
Oh.
Both of my parents are gone.
I'm so sorry.
I'm an orphan. That's what my daughter said. That's what my daughter said. Mom, you're an orphan. I'm like, yeah, kind of.
She's bad.
I know. Well, no, this is what you're just thinking, right? You don't have parents, and that's just how it is. But it's like we create the way we communicate with people from our childhood, right? So we have aggressive, we have passive aggressive, and then we have assertive. And I was passive when I was younger because my environment wasn't always safe. I learned passive aggressiveness. I learned aggressiveness. Being assertive was really hard. And for the most people, I mean, think about why behaviors exist, whether it's in relationships, why, people yell at each other, all of these things. It's building those tools together and having those hard conversations because
Absolutely.
We fear, right?
Hard conversations, dude, are draining, like mentally draining.
Hard.
But there's a nice benefit towards that. I mean, I remember having conversations with my ex, and I just felt like uplifted because I was able to express myself, was able to set boundaries and tell her what's right and what's not right, within my own space. So it's important to express that because otherwise no one's gonna understand or hear you out. So you have to express how you feel and stuff. And so another example that I could carry on with that is that if you find someone you really like, you really care about, you're taking it slow, it's important to set boundaries right away.
Okay.
Into what you want, what you believe in, all that good stuff. And you should also have what is called a non-negotiable list. You can call it Brandy's top 10 non-negotiable list. So there's this list here, a list of things that Brandy has to do as a person, whether she's with this person or not. And if the other person sees it and, can resonate with this list, can, relate to it in any kind of way. And then if there's some stuff that they can't, relate to, they shouldn't really, they could ask why. They can be curious, of course. Don't be furious, be curious, as they say.
Exactly.
So,
be curious, not furious.
So, I think that's important because it's self-growth, it's self-development, and these are things that you want to do, Yeah. And it doesn't have to relate to that person that you really love or care about. It doesn't, because it's your list.
Right? It's how you move as an individual and how you move forward because we need our own identity. So often people come together and they don't have their own identity and then they kind of try to blend it and it doesn't work.
Right.
But boundaries, right?
Yes.
So let's have a little real conversation about boundaries for a second.
Yes, let's do it.
Funny story, right?
Yes. Give it to me.
Most of us, from my own observation and just living a lot and being in tune with people and having lots
living a lot? Oh my gosh, how old are you?
47. I'm older than you, remember?
Dude, she looks my age.
How old are you?
38, 36, 38.
Stop it. I'm 38 too. Just kidding.
Yeah, you are.
That's 10 years, almost 9 years. We're 9 years difference.
You look younger than 38.
Well, thank you.
A couple years younger. I don't know what you're eating, but whatever you're doing, keep on doing it.
Food in general. I love
keep on doing it, girlfriend. Cheers to
coffee,
looking young and good genetics.
Right, good genetics. So anyway, funny story about boundaries.
Oh my gosh, what do you got in here? It's good.
It's so good, right?
I'm sorry, keep going.
Lots of people we don't learn boundaries, right? In most homes as we grow up. It's something I've actually had really open conversations with my own children though. Hey, it's okay to have boundaries with everybody.
Thank you. Good job.
Right? Because nobody taught me boundaries.
Up top.
But this is a funny story. So, I'm still alive. We'll just say that. So,
she's still alive. Oh, stop.
I kind of was telling Will this story if you got to see that.
I did.
Okay, so it's a little.
Don't get me started on the episode. I couldn't get enough. I was mad. I was how dare you guys? You guys didn't even get into the details of these conversations. I can't even talk in these you guys just like said hello and then say goodbye and just kept on going.
I know. Well, I'll have to go back. We'll have to have like this big fun thing because
that was fun though. Don't get me wrong. I'm not totally hating on it.
Well, I mean, the lighting was not great. You know, it's learning, right? I've told you I'm learning.
One day at a time.
Exactly. So,
I love this place. This is an amazing studio you got here.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Just the artwork.
Yeah.
It's my parents. There's a one that is coincides with that in the bathroom.
It's a very romantic picture.
It's very sweet.
You guys can't see it, but it's a very romantic picture.
Someday I hope to have romance.
You say bromance?
Bromance? Are you looking at your muscles?
No. I was just kind of like mocking the poster.
Oh, gotcha.
Something like that.
I was like, are you like showing? Okay, back to our story. Rabbit hole.
I don't do that.
Boundaries, right? Like
yes, boundaries.
This was 2015, I think. Yeah, I think this was a 2015 experience. So, you know, mind you, I've been going to my therapist, you know, back then, still occasionally now because of COVID, yada, yada. And so I had met this guy. Well, this guy, like, found me on Facebook, right? We have a friend in common. He starts like, hey, how are you doing? You know, he's messaging me on Messenger. I have my wall up at this point.
Good.
But it was so good. So, but he's handsome,
was
right?
He cute?
He's quite young.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he was younger than I was, but not a huge amount. Maybe 12 years? I don't remember at this point.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he's handsome. We have a friend in common. He's like, well, why are, you know, he keeps talking.
Did he go like, hey girl, we have friends with, you know, Tyler or Cherie or whatever? Was it like that kind of approach?
No, we just started talking and then he's like, how come you haven't answered my friend request? And I was like, what do you want? He's like, well, I just want to be friends. I think you're really cool and you seem like a great mom.
Pushy much?
Yeah, right. Okay, but I didn't know that back then. Now I see it all the time and people, like, I get DMs all the time right now and people are like, hey dear, hey honey. I'm like, can you stop? Like, first of all, I don't know you. That's a whole other episode, right? But anyway, so my walls come down. He just wants to be friends. Little innocent Brandy here is like, oh, okay.
Gullible little Brandy.
So we become friends and long story short, you know, it was a romance, right? And he's in the East Coast, but then he had moved to Texas. So I fly out to Texas.
Oh my God.
Right? Little Brandy flies on a plane to Texas, and it was a great weekend.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
How long were you guys talking before you made that move to Texas?
I didn't move.
Or not until you flew there?
5 months.
Okay. That's,
it was a while.
That's fair.
It was
that's
a while.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
I felt safe.
Well, good for you.
Yeah. I didn't.
So you know someone genuinely like that long if you guys are talking like every day.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, there were still red flags, but that's another story.
There was no red flags?
There was red flags.
Okay.
But again, that's another story.
Right.
So I fly out there, have a great weekend, come home. We're talking about seeing each other again, and then like a week later, he's in a relationship with somebody. So then I find out he had already had a girlfriend, all this stuff. I'm like sad. It was just this hard situation.
Aww.
So then I go to my therapist and I'm telling her this, and she's like, "You got on a plane to go see somebody you don't know?" She's like, "You could have been chopped up into little pieces. What are you doing?"
You're like, I gave him 5 months.
I know. And then she's like, "You don't have boundaries and you need them." And I was like, "Boundaries? I don't."
Like, what's that?
Why don't I don't have boundaries? But anyway, I know a long conversation to get back to boundaries.
Yeah.
But really, it really was something
They're so important.
Yeah. And
They're very important.
Yes. So everyone out there listening, if you're hanging in this long, boundaries are so important. Like, and if you don't have them, you know, turn inwards to go, hey, what's going on here? Why do I not have a boundary? Why is it that I give myself 150% and take little breadcrumbs? Why is it that, you know, that's kind of the work to do.